Men who once bowed their heads now avoid her eyes. Servants move too quickly through the corridors. Guards stand in places they were not ordered to stand. And somewhere beyond the palace, in the dark veins of the city she built into power, a name is being spoken with betrayal behind it. Muhammad al-Hassan al-Mandri, her own son-in-law. Across the water, the last Muslim kingdom in Iberia has been swallowed. Families flee with what they can carry: books, keys, jewelry, prayers, memories of courtyards they will never see again. Muslim and Jewish refugees cross into North Africa, carrying grief like an inheritance. Among those shaped by this broken world is a young girl named Aisha bint Ali ibn Rashid. She grows up in Chefchaouen, a mountain city wrapped in blue-white walls and silence. But this is not the silence of peace. It is the silence of people who remember what was taken from them. Her family is noble, religious, and political. She is not raised only to sit behind curtains. She learns language, law, faith, diplomacy. She hears Arabic in prayer, Spanish and Portuguese in negotiation, the language of loss in every refugee household. And somewhere in that childhood, the sea becomes more than water. It becomes the road of exile, the border of pain, and one day, the weapon of return. Her marriage to Sidi al-Mandri brings her into Tetouan's ruling circle. To outsiders, it may look like a political marriage, but inside it, Aisha is learning the machinery of power: how cities breathe, how ports feed armies, how alliances are made, how enemies are delayed with gifts, words, and threats. Tetouan is not just a city, it is a frontier. Its walls hold refugees, its harbour faces danger. Across the Strait of Gibraltar, Iberian power is growing Spain and Portugal pushing into North African waters, claiming coasts, seizing ports, haunting the trade routes. Then her husband dies. In many stories, this is where a woman disappears. But Sayyida al-Hurra does not disappear. Widowhood does not bury her. It crowns her. She becomes ruler of Tetouan, not a decorative figure, not a shadow behind a throne, a real political force. She governs a city under pressure, a people born from displacement, and a coastline watched by enemies. And she chooses the sea. Her enemies will call it piracy. Her supporters will call it resistance. Her ships move through the Western Mediterranean like sharp knives through blue cloth. They strike Iberian shipping. They capture cargo. They take prisoners for ransom. Messages pass between ports. Families wait for sons to return. Merchants whisper before sailing. To Spain and Portugal, she is a menace. To the displaced, she is something more complicated. A ruler using the only weapon available in a world where formal armies cannot protect them. She is not simply stealing wealth. She is forcing powerful kingdoms to acknowledge her, and this is what makes her dangerous. Because Sayyida al-Hurra understands something many rulers forget. Power is not only held in palaces, it is held in roots, harbors, fear, reputation, and timing. Her name begins to travel farther than her ships. Al-Hurra, the free woman, the independent, noble woman. A title that sounds less like decoration and more like defiance. Then the story widens. Far to the east, the Ottoman corsair world rises under men like Hayreddin Barbarossa. The Mediterranean becomes a giant chessboard. Ottoman influence, Iberian ambition, Moroccan politics, corsair fleets, ransom markets, and coastal cities trying to survive between empires. Sayyida al-Hurra is part of that world, not as a footnote. As a player, she knows when to fight and when to negotiate. She knows that a prisoner can be a weapon, a letter can be a blade, and a marriage can be a political earthquake. Then comes the moment that defines her peak. In 1541, she marries Sultan Ahmad al-Watasi of Morocco. But she does not go to Fez like a submissive bride entering the royal center. The Sultan comes to her, to Tetuan, to her city. The image matters. A king traveling to the woman who refuses to leave her base of power. The palace doors open not for surrender, but recognition. She is not absorbed into his court. She makes his authority meet hers. For one glittering moment, Sayyida al-Hurra stands at the height of her influence. Ruler, widow, wife of a sultan, commander of sea power, symbol of a people who lost a homeland and built another. But power attracts hunger, and the most dangerous hunger often comes from inside the house. In 1542, betrayal arrives not under a foreign flag, but through family. Muhammad al-Hassan al-Mandri, her son-in-law, moves against her. The coup is not just political, it is intimate. It cuts through the same family networks that once strengthened her rule. Imagine the bitterness of that night. She had survived Iberian pressure. She had survived the suspicion attached to a woman in command. She had survived the sea. But now, men inside her own world decide her time is over. Her property is taken. Her authority collapses. The city she once ruled no longer answers to her voice. And Sayyida al-Hurra, the woman who made kings come to her, leaves power behind. She returns to Chefchaouen, back to the mountains, back to the city of her youth, where exile first shaped her soul. The final chapter of her life fades into uncertainty. There is no grand battlefield death, no final speech carved into stone, no clean ending that history loves to preserve. Instead, there is silence. And perhaps that silence is the point, because some figures are not forgotten because they were unimportant. They are forgotten because they were inconvenient. Sayyida al-Hurra was too complex to fit into easy labels. Pirate, queen, widow, commander, exile, Muslim noblewoman, political strategist, defender, threat. To her enemies, she was a corsair. To her people, perhaps she was proof that loss did not have to become weakness. If this story moved you, there are more like it on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.